Meenal, please go ahead and ask me the questions.
Okay, sir. So last time I had a discussion with you where the education part I've kept one and the same, but right now I have added differentiation over here. So
Yes, very good.
my query is that, see, if you can see, R square is coming as 0.94, which is like very good. But still, if you will see, for one designation, the pay line salary is coming as 13, and
Yeah, show me the R square test is coming as 0.9426. Is it okay?
Yes.
And your first, yeah, everything is looking fine, Ma. There is no problem. Come down. Can you just click on your intercept is just click on that 13 where it's coming yellow. Go to VP sales, Ma. Click on VP sales. Okay, no, VP on that part, pay line salary calculation.
Yeah.
D27, 1 minute. D27 into I27 plus I28. Just go to the next one, client relationship. Okay, go to that 13, where that yellow one is. D31 into I27. Correct. Okay, this seems fine. See, what happens sometimes is your pay line numbers, if you look at all your pay line numbers, you have very high scores for every one of them, except the trainee score, which is 130.
Yes.
So what happens is every time that you're doing this, please note that you will get sometimes a challenge when you are looking at very low point positions or sometimes very high point positions.
Okay.
For example, let us go to the very high point position. It's still okay. But sometimes when you have very low or very high point positions, we need to remove them completely from the pay line calculation and call them pay line exempt position. Being a trainee level position and being the points being just 130, I think it's better to remove this from the pay line. In fact, if you see the front office executive also, the salary recommended compared to the market is very low. It's 13,000. Yeah. No. You have removed the VP sales. Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously the other things are coming better. My suggestion is you remove the these two and don't pay the salary based on the pay lines. Call them pay line exempt. So example, SEO trainee, I think you can now remove it. And not, I mean, even if you remove it, it's okay. But what I'm saying is don't fix the salary based on that. That's all I'm saying.
But then, sir, if we are going to remove that, how would exactly understand that as per the market standard? What is the salary we need to provide to them?
So basically what happens is we call them pay line exempt positions, correct? So very low point plans and very high point values can be removed without much problem. Yeah.
Okay, so you would suggest me when we are drafting this, because
when
this
you're
was one
drafting
case
your
study.
policy, you can say intern level position will not be fixed as per the pay line. It will be given a fixed salary, let's say 10,000 or 15,000, and just go ahead, because it's a trainee level position. It's not fixed on the pay line. That's all.
Okay, so for trainee level, we can always have an exemption from the point
exemption from the pay line and say it's fixed, because you can't pay 2,000 rupees and get away with it, right? So,
exactly. And then, sir, how about VP or C level positions?
So even VP, C level positions, we don't need to pay them as per pay line, because again, if you say I'm paying 1 lakh, whatever you said, 1 lakh 30, when the market pays 1 lakh 70, then you may not get good candidates. So very high and very low positions you can exempt.
Because I was having a confusion when my R2 square is very good, then why either it is coming like very less, or in certain cases it is coming as negative. Because
I understand. What is happening is your intercept value is cutting. You see the straight line which you're doing, it is cutting your 100 point scale at a around 100 points, it's becoming zero, the value, right? Look at the straight line. Where is it cutting the x-axis?
Okay.
Right? It's cutting the x-axis at close to 100 points. That means the market salary at 100 points is showing almost zero marks, so which won't be relevant.
Okay.
So what we have to do is we have to cut that straight line and say that around 150 points and below jobs will be exempt from the pay line.
Okay. So one more thing, I'm actually doing this in a real-time case study with my organization. So I have a quick question. See, if you'll see, I have drafted the education this way: graduation, basic, professional diploma, graduate, advanced, this one. Now, taking into consideration these three positions. So like, for example, last time I also told you that, sir, basically our organization always prefer for technical positions, BE candidates who have cleared BE. Okay.
Yeah.
And they also consider MCA or MCS subjected, BC or BCS subjected, the person has done MCA. So if you'll see this position, the qualification is this.
Which one?
Okay. For UI designer.
Yeah.
Okay. This is one case study. Second case study is this, wherein for IT recruiter, we are preferring this.
I'm not seeing that, Ma. Where is it below the screen? You're talking
sir, I am highlighting it. Can you see this?
It's still showing me only the table here, Meenal. Your degree. Maybe you shut it and show the other screen. It's still showing the old screen.
Okay, just give me a moment, sir. I'll stop sharing and share it again.
Yeah, sometimes in Zoom, if you share one thing and you try sharing the other, first you have to shut down the screen.
So can you see now?
Yeah.
This is the first case study for UI designer.
Correct.
This is the education. Okay.
Yeah, I got it, Ma. Yeah.
This is for HR.
Okay.
And this is the last case study wherein for trainee position, we are looking for this.
Okay.
Now my question is that I have done these two slabs wherein, for example, for SEO trainee or for UI designer, I have considered if I'm taking only BE candidates, let me rate the role, the positions, by giving them graduate as the experience level, like the ratings, education rating as 20. So if you see for SEO trainee, the point I have considered like graduation. Here I have
you considered graduation, right? Fair enough.
Yes.
You're not considered post-graduation because it's not required, I feel.
Yes.
SEO trainee, why do you need a post-graduation? As long as he's a graduate and he has maybe some certification, it might be enough.
Yeah. So I have done these two activities. Like, for example, in first lab, I have considered all of these people. Like, we are okay with BE. If you have done even MCS and MCA, that is like okay, but then we are only going to consider graduation and going to rate them as like education 20. In second slab, I have considered if the education is like graduate and postgraduate, then I have given them a point. Like if you see for SEO trainee, I have considered graduation and post-graduation. So my question over here is that, taking into consideration this positions wherein we are okay with MCS and MCA, or if PG is not required, if he is a BE candidate, which qualification to be considered? Because if I'm considering this either two slabs, the pay line salary is giving me different, and even the
I understand that.
Yes.
So I get that's a good point, Ma. Normally what we take is the basic required qualification. Even if you accept a higher qualification, it doesn't matter. So for example, when I use a point plan evaluation and I'm accepting a bachelor's degree, but you are saying I also may take MCA people, but what is required for the job is bachelor's, no? Because MCA is a higher qualification, but you don't require an MCA, means the basic qualification required for the job is bachelor's. It's like saying, I'll just take a simple example. Let's say I have I'm going on extreme end, but let's say I have a receptionist position and a PhD candidate applies and I accept the PhD candidate for receptionist. But the fact is I don't need the PhD for the receptionist. The basic minimum qualification I require as a graduate.
Okay. So
you have to take the minimum qualification, not the what you might accept as a higher qualification, which is okay, but you have to take the minimum qualification for the point plan.
So here I want to click. Okay, so here it goes this way, that for any position, if you are considering BE number one, and even if we are accepting candidates from MCS and MCA profile, still in point plan method, while giving rating, I'll rate them on the basis of graduation and not on the basis of graduation.
Because that is what is required for the job. The requirement for the job is a bachelor's. You might accept any level higher than that, but the minimum qualification is bachelor's. So we will put the point plan that this job requires a bachelor's.
Okay, but then sir, what is happening in that case? If we'll see when the point plan method, like for example, for IT recruiter or front office executive, their ratings are coming as high as compared to other this one. So when we are rating them, okay, so the UI designer, it is coming like 215 and IT recruiter is coming like 235, and even it is reflecting the salaries also.
See, one option that you always have, Meenal, is you reduce the weightage for education. Sometimes having a weightage for education itself may not be required because it's seeming to skew your point table and giving higher points because educational qualifications you are taking as a point. Either reduce the points for that, weightage for that, or remove it altogether. Education may
I've
not
given
be required.
10, sir, I've given, yeah.
If you look at Hay Plan, for example, you take the 8 factors of Hay Plan, education is not there, experience is not there.
But then, sir, always the compensable factors go in the combination like skills, working conditions. So even I've tried doing this without education. See, you see that I have removed education, but that is not giving me, clear picture. It is like more confusing. Because many of the times what happens, we even give weightage
Meenal, if you go back to your chart, just show me your chart, not this one, the final chart which you made, your point plan table with the scores.
So this one.
Just close this, the current chart which I'm seeing is your SEO requirements and all that, ma?
Okay. I think again I'm selecting it. So can you see?
Yeah. So what I was saying is just come down. Look, you are saying that the UI developer score is coming 235. Is that correct?
Yeah. So what I was saying, I was saying that when I am giving them a ratings on the basis of graduation only, I'm considering graduation only. You will see even positions like IT recruiter with less experience is having more point value as compared to UI designer. When UI designer is having 3 to 5 years of experience and IT recruiter is having 2 to 3 years of experience.
So just show me the point table, no, please. Okay, 1 minute. So UI developer, you are having 10, 20, 30 for where are the points for education? Is it coming 10 points for education, 15 points for experience, 20 points for knowledge and skill, and so for example, UI developer, your rating on innovation and complexity is how much for UI developer?
Medium.
And for IT recruiter?
I believe it is medium, sir.
But that may be a little unfair because UI designers complexity and IT designers complexity, you're putting it at the same level, where in my view, UI designer has a more complex job than an IT recruiter whose job may be simple. I'm not sure. You have to evaluate the jobs. And and for me, maybe a UI developer also has a higher level of knowledge and skill compared to the area. So a lot of it depends on the way you're evaluating the job, Meenal. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you're giving, I mean, when you're saying See, a UI developer, I think if you write your, for example, if the way you write the innovation and complexity score, if you can make it a little more detailed, like it requires a high degree of technical skill, ability to use a software, etc. If you say it's in proficient level, maybe I'll say the UI developer has to be proficient in his knowledge and skill. Whereas an IT recruiter,
So
maybe
I have mentioned your like knowledge and skills, advanced,
that's what
beginner,
I'm saying.
competent.
But it's your evaluation criteria that you're using. Do you see my what I'm getting at?
Okay.
Right. So, for example, if you have evaluated a UI designer, if you are saying that he's getting a lower score as an IT developer, that's possibly also because of your the rating that you're given on innovation and knowledge and skill. For me, innovation and knowledge and skill for a UI developer should be higher than a IT recruiter.
But then, sir, we all also look into combination with the experience, because if he's coming with an experience of 3 to 5,
No,
it can
experience
be.
is fine. Don't worry about experience. Experience is a separate criteria. But how many points have you given on knowledge and skill and innovation and complexity to the UI designer, Ma?
Just a moment, sir. It's like G14. I have given knowledge and skills competent, and innovation and complexity as medium innovation and complexity.
Minimum.
So
And for program and for IT recruiter?
it's the same.
Same. That's what I'm saying. I think, to be fair, I think you are giving the same score on innovation, same score on complexity. But in my mind, if I look at a UI designer who is a programming level person and IT recruiter who's more of a user of a software, not a developer of a process or system, I would still say that you should have given a lower score for the IT recruiter. And that's why the IT recruiter score is too high now.
Okay. Okay.
And if
And
you
so, yeah.
and if you get a lower score, obviously the salary recommended for him also would come down, because 41,000 for somebody who's
Yes.
2,300 market salary seems very high. And that's probably
Yes.
because you're given high scores on complexity and innovation
Innovation. Okay.
and knowledge and
Okay.
skill requirement. See, knowledge and skill, what does an IT recruiter require? I don't think he requires a huge level of knowledge and skill, whereas a UI designer is a programming level person. He has to do far more in terms of complexity and innovation.
So we need to go more in depth when we are evaluating the job
When you're
description, the
evaluating
roles.
the jobs, you need to kind of be very, very fair. And when you see somebody being overrated like this, then probably go back and check why is the score so high for him. Yeah.
Okay, because I was like more confusing that why the pay like salary is giving me such a huge salaries which we need to
No,
pay, which
because
is
you're given a very high score to him. That's why you're getting it. You are saying that he is doing a very complex level job. He's in fact creating something. He's virtually doing something with the high innovation and high technical skill. Whereas a IT recruiter, in my opinion, doesn't have that level of technical skill or that level of complexity. But when you made him such so complex his job, then automatically you're giving him a very high score, and that's actually a little unfair.
okay. So one
Because
more
if you
thing I
just look at the comparative also, Ma, for example, if you look at a .NET developer, IT recruiters complexity you're giving higher than a .NET developer.
So I'll tell you why there is a difference, because for IT recruiter we are looking out for graduation plus post graduation,
No, that's
like MBA. So here you will see for IT recruiter where the score is getting increased, because for education I'm
no,
giving like
it's not
40.
big. No, but then technically that job should be rated low. On the complexity and technical aspects, it can't be the same as a programmer level job. Ma. Where is the complexity of a programmer and where is the complexity of a recruiter? To be fair,
Okay.
it's a much less complex job.
Okay.
See, you must mentally just ask yourself, why am I rating both of them as the same complexity? Try to, you do one small exercise, and then that will give you a good insight, is you take all the job titles you have rated, and on each aspect put on where what is. For example, if I'm saying complexity of a UI developer, I've given as a level 3. A .NET programmer, I've given level 2, let's say. And IT engineer, I'm saying level 3. Then obviously there is some issue there, right? You're understanding what I'm saying.
Yes.
Write
Yes,
down each
yes.
of them and see if you ask somebody, do you feel this complexity is correct, that these jobs are equally complex, or do you feel some of these jobs are less complex? So you have to do what we call some level of calibration of your rating by seeing if you're giving a fair rating, Meena.
Okay, okay. So one more thing, like, what I've observed, like, for example, for SEO trainee, UI designer, .NET developer, when I'm considering the education like graduate, like BE, and for IT recruiter, when we are considering the graduate education like BCom, any graduate plus
Postgraduate.
PG.
Yeah.
So here it is like, immediately 20 points are getting increased in the point value.
Yes, but
So,
but if
yeah.
I look at SEO trainee in terms of maybe innovation and complexity, and SEO, even an SEO trainee will do a more complex and innovative job than an IT recruiter. So the innovation of that guy should be higher.
But sir, the job itself says that we want a fresh graduates with no experience.
Why are you relating graduation, education with innovation and complexity, Ma? There is no this thing. Maybe the job is very complex, but you don't need the high level of education. Right? We cannot say that a job which requires a high level of complexity is necessarily a more complex job. Let's say a programmer and let's say a sales executive. Which job is more complex according to you?
A programmer.
Programmer. But for a programmer, you might be taking a BE. For your sales executive, you might be taking a MBA.
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
How can you say that education is related to complexity? You have to evaluate each factor separately. Don't get it up.
Okay, okay. No, because sir, what was happening, because the moment I was like comparing between 20 and 40, here the point value was getting increased.
No, that's okay. On one
That's
aspect
okay.
it can be increased, but it will be pulled back on the other aspects when you're looking at the innovation and knowledge and skill and all that. That's why I'm saying each factor has to be calibrated, Meena. Yeah.
Okay, sir. And my other question, which I've mentioned in the chat box, was that okay. So here, going further, I'll ensure that I'm removing the trainee profiles and the senior, very very senior profiles. Yeah. So now, when I'm going to pay the senior profiles as per merit pay, how actually we need to pay them? Like fixed salary and then merit pay. How we can do a combination?
So what you're fixing here, Meenal, is your fixed salary, right? This doesn't include merit pay.
Yes.
Yeah. So merit pay options, you will have to look at certain industry benchmarks. How are other companies giving? What is the percentage you're giving to other companies also giving for variable pay options? And then you should look at how to fix the variable pay on those parameters, Ma. It is more based on what are other companies paying? What are the aspects? How much pressure am I putting on people to raise that amount? But normally, as a thumb rule, I normally don't prefer to go on a merit pay or a variable pay component beyond 30% of fixed pay. So I try to look at would a good performer, not the best performer, a good performer get 25 to 30% more.
Okay, okay.